All right, welcome into a little rant. I thought I'd talk about the ridiculousness of the speed of movement of technology. So, at this point, we have these crazy AI things, and the change rate on AI and the explosion of AI means basically that you can go online right now, look up instructions for something, how to do something on an AI, and they might not work. So far, I'm like 0 for 12. So, like a lot of this stuff just doesn't work. Some of it is days old. So I went to download a model. I wanted to run it locally. The entire software platform they told me to use had changed so dramatically that none of the commands they talk about exist. It's 4 days old. I don't know what to say. So one problem is not just say the technology, the techne that we have, but also the speed at which things are moving, right? And so we have so many people in one industry. Even though we fired about 20% of them, that wasn't enough. We should fire another 80% or so, then we'll be back to normal. Moving so fast because we have so many people in it, and they're not competent. Like you're not going to tell me that somebody went to a 6-week boot camp to learn programming actually knows anything about programming. It's not going to happen. Just not going to happen. Uh, I've worked with these groups. I've met people. Like, not saying no one ever, but almost no one ever. Most of these people are complete morons. They couldn't work at McDonald's. Like, would you like fries with that? Way over their heads. And I'm not being hyperbolic. Like, actually, there's a lot of people who are just incapable. And you can tell them things, and it's in one ear out the other. How they passed a boot camp test, I'll never know. And a lot of people are relying on testing, for certain skills. And of course, you go online and figure out how to game those tests, as with all tests. Look, if you can't talk to somebody for 15, 20 minutes and figure out if they know how to code, you shouldn't try to hire programmers. It's that simple. You just shouldn't try to hire programmers, software engineers, scripters, anything remotely technical. There's easy ways to know. It really only takes a few questions, and I don't know what to tell you. It's real easy. But everything's moving so fast and the demand is so high that all we have is a bunch of crappy software that's changing so fast that it's useless. Utterly useless. It's so useless because when you get it, whatever it does, those APIs have changed. And so you have a small window, a very small window. It's no good. The window's too small. And this is causing breakdowns in technology all over the place. It's causing slowdowns and our reliance on things like cell phones. Man, we lose a few towers, it's all over. And towers are actually really vulnerable. Anyway, the state we're in now is so fragile because of the speed we're moving. We're not taking time to put into place what needs to be there, which is infrastructure that will last. I can write an API in an afternoon. I can write a whole language in an afternoon. That's not hard. A little domain specific language. Not hard. The problem is you can't write one that's going to last for any amount of time. And when that time is up, now you're in trouble. Because now you have something that isn't useful. And now you have to rebuild it over and over and over because we're not taking the time to do the design phase anymore. We're not taking the time to get good engineers working on projects. We're just trying to crank things out. Agile development in particular focuses on release. Release should be rare and expensive because when it's rare and expensive, people do it right. And when it's not, you basically get garbage. There's no way around it. Release is my specialty. I built release pipelines, probably hundreds of them at this point for various projects of various sizes. If release isn't expensive, if releases are rushed, software quality is garbage. There's no way around that. So that's what you have to be aware of. There's no way around that problem. That problem does not go away. And when you just shove people in an industry and you need to give them something to do, and there's plenty of work to be done because you can automate anything, you're just going to get a lot of garbage that needs to be rewritten constantly. And that's great for low end people who need work, but for people who actually have to use the stuff or rely on it, you're in a lot of trouble. Especially when we have a lot of people who just don't know how anything works. They don't know how the technology works at all. They have no clue. That's a problem. You should know how the technology works that you're touching. I saw a YouTube video from this guy who teaches C, I guess, basically online. And, the title was, "Why Do We Need Header Files?" And I was like, wow. And then I watched a little bit of it. I didn't watch the whole thing. He didn't get all the use cases right. I'm like, dude, you're good, but you're missing a use case here, an important one. And you also didn't outline why and what the differences are. Like, this is actually really important. So, and he did a good job at the high level, and I'm not knocking the guy, like, whatever. But, like, really? Like, you missed some important, information. You can't talk about header files and talk about ways around them without talking about use cases as to why you would do one or the other. And yeah, it's sort of interesting that even the sort of high end people who actually know some of the tech aren't really describing it in a useful way. We have too many people in the industry. The industry is moving way too fast. Way too fast. There's no time to learn any of these new APIs or new systems or new ways to do things that are very, very simple and are now complexified beyond all imagining. Been working with an online store, and I was like, wow, I used to run a company that built online stores for people. And we could have actually, scripted the whole thing or most of it. But simple things that would take me minutes, hours. It takes hours to do those simple things now. Industry moving too fast. It's too complex. Everything's being complexified beyond value. And yeah, you're creating more jobs about experts in sort of weird niche things, and they've got to continually update their skills because APIs are changing so fast. Yeah, I went online looking for the online store info, and half of it's just wrong. It's just out of date, which is, some of that's expected. But really, less than a year old, and it no longer applies? Wow. And look what happened to search. Search doesn't work at all anymore. You might as well throw Google out. Completely useless. I mean, completely. And that's why they transitioned to AI. If you don't have the beta Google AI search for your phone, actually, it's kind of neat. It's far from perfect, but it's kind of cool. It does some neat stuff. When it gets stuff wrong, it's funny too. So that's good. Get a little entertainment out of your computer as it's failing to do all the stuff it could do 10 years ago far better. And that's really the thing. When you look back, you start to realize, oh, there was a great meme. It was full of swear words, of course, but it said $1 billion business idea. Build a printer that works and prints every time that you ask it to print and doesn't break down. I'm telling you guys, this could be big. And it was just full of the F-bomb, which I rather enjoyed. Yeah, we're at the point where people are saying, hey, getting a printer to work would be a $1 billion idea. Printers used to work. I don't know what else to say. Printers worked in the 8-bit days better than they do now, and more reliably. Yeah, I recently went to print from my phone and my Chromebook and stuff at work, and connecting to the printer took like 20 minutes, and then it took 10 to print. Now, subsequent pages are printing in less than 10 minutes. Why the first page took 10 minutes? I will never understand as long as I live. The drivers took 20 minutes to get working. After that, you'd think the printing would happen pretty, and like the printer got the job right away. It just took 10 minutes to print the first job. There is no way in hell that that's a data transfer problem. There isn't enough data to transfer to make it take that long. Moving too fast. Get too many people in the industry. So look, I don't know. I'm just saying it's not looking good. Don't be reliant on tech too much because certain things are going to stop working. And there's a lot of stuff that's already stopped working. There's a lot of technologies we had that are just plain gone. Servers are unstable, systems are crashing, debugging doesn't work, kernel system crash. I don't know what to say about that. Ubuntu, don't upgrade your Ubuntu kernel. Holy macaroni, that doesn't work. Simple bug too, but like really, guys? Apparently, they don't test anything, and that's the other thing. We don't test anything. No time. Got to get another release out. Can't be testing. It's going to slow down the development cycle. So I don't know, guys. Doesn't look good.